Hello, and yes, welcome to the Card Quest Dan podcast. On this week's show, I have Misha, who is also known as the Card Kid on Whatnot and social media channels. How are you today, Misha?
Yeah, no, I'm very good, thank you. How are you?
I'm well. Thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule to join me as well on the show. It's much appreciated because I do link in with your shows and your social media quite a lot, and you're, always sort of doing this and that, this and the other. But most of the time, I see you probably on Whatnot streaming. But I don't know, when was the last stream actually?
I don't know. I'm gonna be honest. I've been slacking recently. The last proper stream has probably not been for like 3 or 4 weeks.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Usually you're on there, but you've been slacking a bit lately. But is there a reason behind that? You've been away, you've been doing stuff in the background, you're planning things. What's going on?
It's sort of a bit of everything to be really. I've been because I'm obviously with my age, I'm still in school. So I've
Mm,
been so it's sort of a bit of that because I've got my GCSEs coming up next year. And then part of it is well, yeah, I've got some sort of big plans which I think we'll definitely get onto later.
excellent stuff. So tell the listeners a little bit about yourself and how long you've been doing sort of Pokemon for. You got your own Pokemon collection, and what made you want to sell on the Whatnot platform?
So I've been not necessarily Pokemon, but I've been sort of you could call it wheeler dealing for about 4 years now. Ever since I was about 10, I started with like Lego. Um,
Mm,
I was doing that for a couple years, like events all up and down the country. Um, and then and then one of the people that we did the Lego shows with, he sort of introduced me to Pokemon. Originally it was from a sort of vending point of view, but since I've started doing it, I've built up my own collection because I've actually realised this is quite a fun thing.
mm. So, aside from the Pokemon collection that you have, you thought, yes, it's a fun thing. You're doing Lego. I have seen you sell some Lego streams, actually, I think, on Whatnot occasionally as well. Is that correct?
Yes, so I actually originally, this answers one of your questions as well. I originally started Whatnot because last year about June time I broke my elbow at an event. So I was
Ouch.
yeah, so I was it was a bit stupid. I just tripped over a stack of tables. So
Oh,
I was sort of barred from doing events for 6 weeks. So I figured I'll give the Whatnot a try. So we started out with some Lego for about a month. Then that was like June, July time. Then I just stopped. And then about September time, we started doing Whatnot, and it's just gone all uphill from there.
mm, we love that. That's awesome stuff. So, let's talk about your personal collection first of all, then. What do you have? What have you got most of? I'm presuming you've got loads of Lego, but aside from Lego, Pokemon wise, what have you got?
I've mainly got. I try and collect more like slabs and stuff, just because I think they're sort of nicer for displays. So actually, quite a lot of my personal collection is actually in grading at the minute. Like I'm trying to grade a full set of the English Mega Attack rares from like extended heroes and the promos and stuff, as well. So
Mm-hmm.
that's sort of part of it. And then I've also got. I'd say my sort of, in my eyes, not value eyes, but my prized possession would be that the Charizard from Obsidian Flames, because I was in my kitchen one day. I just got a delivery of 10 packs. I opened it, I got the Charizard, and then I sent it off and it got a 10. So
Wow.
and that's my first like top chase card I've ever got. So that is probably the one card I'll never sell just because like sentimental value.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. I have changed my approach a little bit because I was collecting Pikas and art rares for the binder. But do you know what? I do like the slab value now, and to keep things for longevity, it also protects the cards, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does.
So, go on.
Oh no, sorry. I was just gonna say, yeah, no, it really. I like, especially with Ace. I like that how sort of nice they look on display with the labels and stuff.
Yeah, they do. They've got their little art labels. I have recently had Imperium grading on the show, in my previous last show. I don't know if you've heard them as well. They have similar style art label, like Ace do, but they also have a lot of other different things that maybe Ace aren't really doing as well. That was quite good to get involved with them. But I'm non-biased. I do use all the companies. I use Imperium, I use Ace, and I also do use PSA as well. But I suppose my go-to still is Ace because I suppose from a vending and whatnotting, and when you're going to card shows, they're still quite well known as opposed to the up and coming grading companies, and the fact that we've got to be careful about non-legitimate slabs out there as well. But we won't go into detail about that. But um, yeah, you're more of an Ace fan from what I've seen from your streams, would you say?
Yeah, I'd say so. I mean, I did go. I say a stage. I had a for about 2 weeks. I had a bunch of PSA slabs in, but that I sold them all off just because in some sort of bulk bundle. But yeah, I'd say I prefer Ace just on the fact that it's really like quick turnaround times, like a month or two.
Mm.
And then also because I'm sort of even though they're not worth like even though I don't send off cards worth like thousands and thousands of pounds, sort of I don't really want to send my cards off to America for 6 months.
Oh, I know, right? I had to wait 6 months just for two cards. I have sent one other one off, but I wanted to think, it's maybe for selling on and not part of my personal collection because I've decided now to do a little bit of both. So, what is actually worth grading as opposed to keeping in my binder? So, I do have still Pikachus, I do have art rares, which is what I'm mainly collecting, but I'm also slamming up like the nicer side of Pikachus, like the Crown Zenith one where he's like floating down on the leaf. You know the one I mean?
Yes, that's a really nice one.
Yes. So I'm waiting for that to come back from Ace. I believe I did send it off the other week. And they're actually really quick at the moment, surprisingly. So yeah, shout out to Ace. Well done for being quite quick. I don't know if it will just stay in like quality check-in though for a while, but I sent it last week. It blitzed through. I was like, this is supposed to be a 45-day week. They've graded it. It's already in assembly apparently.
Oh wow,
So
that's really
other
good.
people have been having similar experiences recently. Maybe when they did close for a certain period of time, they've caught up with the backlog. They've opened it up slowly, and we know that Ace have got a select program, which I'm guessing you might be part of. Tell me if I'm wrong.
I've not part of the program yet, but
Mm,
excuse me. I've just I'm not part of the program yet. I think I will do, but at the minute because I'm sort of well, I guess sort of in the whole sort of scheme of things, one of the smaller sellers on there.
mm.
I'm sort of all about a quick turnaround. I don't really want to wait sort of however long it is, like 4 6 months to get the stuff in. So I'm paying a little bit more on the like £18 service with the label, just so it comes back in like 45 days. But I think I will be joining the Select in the near future.
Yeah, it's quite a good program, I think. I mean, for me, I'm not much. I do whatnot every now and then, but most of the time, I'm just sort of doing it for the community, sort of interacting like this on my podcast with other streamers and people that are part of the Pokemon community, and having my own collection. Obviously, I do that with my son as well. But yeah, he's doing the Charizards and the Mega Lucarios because there's so many out there. I just thought we'll just nail it down to ones that you enjoy the most. Just collect what you love collecting, and that's what stopped me now from trying to get products. So I'll generally go on Whatnot or eBay or something like that to buy the cards that I maybe want or are interested in because one, it's so hard to get retail product at the moment, and two, I do get some products sometimes, but it just takes a while to, you're grinding through it and you might be wasting money because you don't know what's in the packs, whereas Whatnot gives you that opportunity to purchase the cards that you want. And that's why you're a good streamer as well, because you do the good slabs, you do the cards, but mostly you are a slab seller, I would say.
Yeah, I think I started off doing I sort of mainly it was I did start off doing singles, then I sort of moved over to some more slabs. I do actually have a good stream planned for about. I mean, I need to send them off first, but whenever they come back, like August, mid-August, where we're doing about 350 A slabs in one show, and the majority are English. So like without sort of floating my own boat, I think my slabs are a little bit better just because what I try and do is send off like a bunch of English stuff compared to like most people that
Yeah,
just send off like Japanese cards.
yeah.
Um, but don't get me wrong, I get very poor prices. But if people can get some good deals, then that's also sort of what it's about.
Yeah, I think as long as you're making or breaking even or making some money back, then it's worth it. But I know that sometimes you're on your streams, you're like, whoa, people getting that for a right still there, something that you've spent a bit of money on to grade and take your time to do that. and then it goes for 20 quid. So like that.
Yeah,
It's
I think the worst one of those things that happened. It was my fault, but we had a celebrations. Here comes Team Rocket Slab and an A ten. It's worth about 50, 60 quid. And I accidentally put it on 5 second sudden death and it only went for £9.
oh my days. Let me show you. God, watch out for those sudden death things because it does happen, and it's just human error, isn't it? At the end of the day.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah. I think all it was because I tried to run something at a set price before, so I switched it to sudden death. I mean, I think out of the I don't know however many things I've sold and whatnot, I've only done that twice. So I mean, it can happen, but I mean, it wasn't the worst, but it sort of is what it is.
yeah. No, I've seen some good stuff coming. So keep doing what you're doing. When is your next show supposed to be as well? Anyway.
I am gonna be honest. I'm not sure. So I've got one show scheduled, which is gonna be quite a big one, which I'll get to in a minute.
Mm.
But I think Slab Show, it should be the big one is gonna be sometime in August.
Uh-huh.
And then also I'll be getting a lot more singles in because hopefully, I'll be jetting off to America some in the next couple month in the next like month or two. So there should be a lot more singles coming then.
Yeah. And in terms of what is happening next, because we're going to talk about that now. You are trying to arrange something in the background. So I did receive the message, but why don't you tell the listeners what you've got planned?
Yes, so essentially what we are planning is a really so essentially I've been on Whatnot for I'd like to say close to a year, not necessarily always as a seller but as a buyer. But I it's not shown much, but there's a really big like I'd say quite tightly locked community. Like everyone like most streamers know everyone and like
Yeah.
in person they're always like meeting up and stuff. So we've been thinking about this for quite a while, and we decided to go with it. It's a really big community shows on the end of the year, and essentially it's called Whatnot Rewind. And what we're gonna do is, I don't know if you've watched YouTube Rewind.
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah, it's sort of similar to that. So it's just going to be a bunch of. It's just sort of really looking back on the year. It's going to be like a really big celebration stream. We're trying to break a bunch of records, like the most amount of viewers in a UK live show, which I think we need to be about 4,500.
Wow.
So a couple, as well as a couple other things like most amount of raids into a show and then like most amount of giveaways. And then we're just going to be so we only actually so far we had a great response from streamers. I only started messaging them on Friday, so that was about 3 days ago, and
Yeah.
we've already had streamers with a total like combined follower number of over 350,000 signed up.
So you got some of the big boys. So shout out to Samir, Pokey Retreat, for example.
We've not got him on yet, but we've got who do we have that in the Pokemon side? We've got the Soul Sisters, Neurotic, Pocket
Yeah.
Adam. If you do, I don't know if people watch the Lego side, he's a bit of everywhere. We've got O'Brien as well. So yeah, quite a few, and obviously me. But yeah, quite a few of your big sellers, and hopefully way more to come.
Shogun.
No, I've not. To be fair, I've been messaging a lot of people, but quite a few haven't responded yet. They're the ones we got confirmed, but hopefully,
Yeah.
we've got quite a few other people like Card Pharmacy and stuff that said they'd be interested.
Yeah,
But
I think there's like Cooper's cards, there's of collectibles. These are the ones that I see pop up the most and throughout different times of the day, including you. But I'm sure we can collaborate after this podcast if you haven't got any on your list that I probably see as well. Maybe you don't see, but you're right, it is a close-knit community. For the ones that you know, I jump in, Poke Retreat Stream or Poke Cove, Shogun, people like that, and they know me. They're like, "Hello, welcome in, Dan. Good to see you again. Who you got on your podcast next time?" But at least it's you this time, the Card
yeah,
Kid. But yeah, even in your streams, you've recognised me. You see the logo, and if I see you about, I'm always like, "Hello, I see you. I see you in the stream. I see you."
yeah, no, it's
So
really
yeah, it
nice.
is a really nice community when you get to know them. Um, and yeah, just you still got to be careful out there, haven't you? So those that don't know, if you're new to the scene, just yeah, I say use your common sense and do your research a little bit before, spending your money and stuff like that. I'm always an advocate of that because I'm always shouting out the community, making sure the community is safe, and I think you advocate for that as well, don't you?
Yeah, and also something that I think is good quite about the sort of streamers. I think I don't know if you'd feel the same, but I'd say sort of most people that haven't really been on the app, sort of the general consensus is Whatnot's quite a sort of bad platform where people always pay really high and they always like get scammed and stuff. But I don't think, and that is sort of to do with a couple accounts that are out there sort of posting stuff. But what I think people don't show, which is hopefully what this show can do, is sort of
Mm.
how people do actually care for each other. Like people, I don't know, just off the top of my head, like Pocket Adam, if anyone, even though he gets absolutely rinsed on his prices sometimes, even if they overpay even by like £2, £3, he'll top it up to make sure they get more than their money's worth. Just things like that that people really miss out on.
Yeah, I think if people overpay for a card, decent streamers will top you up with what you've spent. Or if you're a regular, maybe you will get a refund. Sometimes, streamers are unable to refund because at the end of the day, it is a bidding platform. You know, bid responsibly on the stuff that you're bidding for at the end of the day. That's what, people think, oh, you're paying over the odds for something, but it's getting overhyped up. So this is a bit of a controversial topic, I suppose, for you as well. But in bigger streamers' streams, when a card is on the screen and being hyped up, or even if it's a single card or a slab, and people are paying over the odds for it, do you think the overhype makes people buy more? Or is it a gamble? Because some of the bigger streamers, have got that big buyer's giveaway as well, because I get taken in by the buyer's giveaway, but I don't spend over the odds. I might spend a couple of quid on a card as like a lottery ticket. But some of the streamers out there, I mean, quite rightly, some people say, oh, they're overhyped. But if I go into someone else's stream, it's probably only got 10 viewers or something. For the same card, you're going to get it near retail or just a little bit above market price. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I've sort of got it's that's a tricky one to be fair because I think sort of some big streamers like Bid Battle and Soul Sisters, they're like I've met them
Yeah,
both. They're the nicest guys. Like they will not let you overpay for stuff. Like sort of like very genuine and stuff. So I think there's that as
of
well.
course.
They
Yeah.
where they take care of you, and then there are some people that do like I'm not going to name names because that's not my um area, but and there's a couple big sellers that obviously when you have 500,000 people in your show and you're auctioning a card at a time, even if like 10% of the people want it, you've got 100 people that want to get this card. So of course it might go for a little more just because of sort of, and I've done it before as well, it's sort of like FOMO because like there's so many people
Yeah.
in here, you don't know, quite often it's on sudden death, you don't know what's going to happen, and you just sort of do want the card.
Yeah, that's true. And I think maybe it's not the seller overhyping it, it's because you've got FOMO, fear of missing out. You want that card, but someone else is outbidding you. Again, it's a bidding platform at the end of the day. If you want the card that much, maybe you will be paying over the odds for a card because someone else wants it just as much as you.
Yeah, no, I was like that with yeah, I agree with that, but also FOMO wise, I was like that when some people first when surprise sets started to be a thing like last August and stuff. I spent a lot of money on like rank cards and stuff on their surprise sets. But and I think overall I did break even, but I looked at it and I'm like, I've spent so much money, I've just got
Yeah.
Japanese packs. So I've just sort of, even though I got some good stuff and I got like £200 slabs for 20 odd quid, I've just sort of called it quits with that. But I did get FOMO from that, so it does happen a lot often than like some people do
Yeah.
think.
From my personal perspective, I don't enjoy surprise sets or breaks, to be honest. But that's my personal preference because I like watching shows that are doing singles or slabs because you know what you're getting at the end of the day. With surprise sets, you could be spending £20 or more and then get just a pack of cards, like just one pack. That might be Ascended Heroes, that might be Chaos Rising, and those packs are what, 5, 6 quid a pot? And then you're missing out on the big items. But yeah, obviously, it's a gamble, isn't it? At the end of the day, you're going to get sometimes that surprise item, which might be a slab or it might be something bigger like a sealed product, but you've got 5 or 600, maybe more, packs versus 10 big items on the back wall. So That's why I don't do it. But what do you think about that?
Yeah, no, I think some breaks are quite shady. Like there's been a couple, like there's this one that's I've seen a couple people on it that like they do it per spot. They say like if it's a £5 average, it's this many packs, and then I've done the maths and it works out you're paying like £32 for a pack of Ascended Heroes. Um,
Exactly.
but I mean, I've done breaks like 2 or 3 times. So I think the first time I did breaks was Gem Pack 3, where every spot was a guarantee and it was only like
Hmm.
£5 a spot. So I think those sort of breaks are really good. And then we've done a couple Ascended Heroes breaks, and every single time we've done the Ascended Heroes, obviously on our Instagram, we did get that God Pack. Um,
Mm.
so I do think some breaks are good, but I think I'm sort of 50-50 about that, to be fair. I think surprise
Yeah.
sets
It's a tough one.
it is a tough one to be fair, but I'd say in my sort of opinion, I'd say surprise sets are a little bit worse than breaks. And because it's sort of where I am now, I'd
Yeah,
sort of
no, I agree with that.
yeah,
Yeah.
I sort of stick to watching singles, slabs, and just the big sealed shows.
Yeah, I agree with you there. There's been some comments in the I don't know, obviously people that are in the ace grading Discord, ace grading community. It's a little bit different of subject now. And we noticed something on there the other day, and I wanted to bring it up with you.
Okay.
It's just in terms of grading cards. We're not going to name names or anything, but I noticed in the ace grading community. So they graded a Mew card. It came back for an 8 on the surface. They cracked it out, so it's an 8. It was a Mew EX Black Star promo. You know, the little Mew floating above the houses. That card,
Mhm.
from the Ultra Premium collection. It says, checked it out. I couldn't see a single thing wrong with the surface where it was marked on the report, which made it an 8. So I sent it straight back to Ace with no cleaning or anything. It came straight back, and then it come back a perfect 10. What's wrong here? I feel scammed out of the thing. Now, when I looked at the comments and things, and I wanted your opinion on this as well, some people say grading is a complete scam. There's very little consistency, and even some of the cards that are a 10 with a perfect subgrade don't make sense. And it's got clearly white edges or badly off center. Only grade for a quick flip or an expensive cardboard. They say F grading, just make sure you do it, just keep them in the binder. And I'm thinking, no, I think some companies they're saying, oh, we need to go to AI now, like AGS and things like that. But I think human error sometimes does happen. Like in the large percentage, thousands of cards that get sent into grading companies per week, there might be room for error, right? And I just wanted to get your take on this as well.
Yeah, no, I 100% agree. Like, obviously, there's been human error does exist. Like, especially when you're a big like company like Ace, when you're grading like 90,000 cards a month. Of course, there's going to be one or two that sort of slip through the cracks, and they might get an incorrect label or they might get an incorrect grade or something. But when you're handling that much volume, you are definitely like prone to mistakes. Like I have been not so much now, but there was a point where I was grading like 300 or 400 cards a month, and there'd be some cards that I got back from grading and it comes back like a 6 or a 7, and I'm like,
Mm,
how did I miss that? And it's so mistakes sort of do happen. And like I saw a video, I don't know if you saw it, this other guy who had a sports card, he was fuming because someone else had his card in a 10, but it
yeah.
was the wrong card. And he was like absolutely like
Oh no, yeah, I have seen that, I think, but I don't know what was it resolved? I can't remember
I don't
now.
know. I think they said something like the other person with that card with the incorrect label needs to send it back in. But like, I think it's just they're so ever since their whole price thing, which I think. I mean, when this first price thing came out, I got a lot of very mixed opinions from like vendors and stuff. Because obviously it costs more money to grade with them, but all the grading companies have done the same thing. Like PSA, you can't um submit cards worth like you have to pay the minimum like 60-80 pound for grading now, and
Yeah.
obviously all the others are shut. So it's just sort of it's like if you look at it from like the business point of view, they're like we can't keep up with grading. We're always selling out, so let's just raise our prices, and they're still selling out. So it's not really had an effect. And
Mm.
one more thing before I shut up,
No,
I've
it's fine.
sort of started to And I said this from the start. People, like, everyone said I was like kissing up to Randy and stuff, even though I don't have a code. I was saying, because the prices have been raised, obviously the slabs are going to continue to rise in value, because they're obviously, people can't flip them as quick, because they've obviously either, if they wanted to, they'd have to pay more for the grading, which means the cars would be worth more, or wait longer, which means they'd value the profit more. Um, so I was looking on eBay the other day at the Chaos Rising slabs, and a lot of the like
Yes.
illustration cards that would be worth maybe £30 to £50 when they first come out, and people just send them on the £25 service, they've all been listed and selling for about £50 to £80,
Mm.
which is a huge increase. So if you're looking at it from a value point of view, they have increased, and also, which is, I guess, good for some people. I'm no Quite a few people aren't in it for the money, so if you're buying them for your PC, it might be worth a bit more. But it has, in my opinion, it has had a positive impact.
Yeah, I think he's a good businessman. Randy is, and shout out to him. You know, Ace Grading are a good company. I'm not biased to any of them. I still use them. I've got cards that are being graded with them currently, and equally, I've used PSA and other up and coming companies. I've even tried AGS and things. You know, they're normally at the card shows, AGS, but they use primarily artificial intelligence scanning, which takes away that human element a bit more. But they do say that they do use humans as well, just to double check sometimes. Maybe AI is some of the future, like Tag. Tag is up and coming, and they've really been hitting the market strong of recent months. I've noticed, but you stick to what you like, and Randy is a very good businessman. He's up and coming as well. I would say the two top things in the UK are probably, yeah, PSA and Ace. Ace is the one that are at the most of the card shows, and now I see a lot more Tag as well. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, no, I think, yeah, I'd agree with that. I'd say Tag is quite a. It is, they do look nice, like they do look like nice slabs. It's a nice like company. The slabs look nice. It's good they use AI. Back to what you said earlier about the human error thing, about the grade coming back a perfect
Mm.
10. I think I'd be more angry and a bit reluctant to use the company if it was an AI company like Tag or AGS, because like your system clearly doesn't work properly. But if it's done by humans like Ace or PSA, like errors, they happen.
Yeah, that's what I mean. And then even if you crack it and resend it back in, because we know Ace is harsh on the surface. If I took it out and maybe give it a wipe or something with a microfiber cloth, if it was a bit of dirt, because companies don't clean the cars for you or give it a blast of air, which would be nice, I suppose, a little wipe and a blast, and then put it through the grading system and then see what happens. But this guy said, "Oh, I didn't do anything with it at all." But that sounds like it's a human error. I would ask you. I mean, you said you used PSA before, but would you use any other companies? Have you explored Imperium grading, for example?
No, I've not explored Imperium grading really, just because I have used PSA, but I've not graded with them. I've just sort of bought the slabs in.
Yeah.
But I think once they do open up, I would like to submit to PSA for the first time. But I mean, I'd be open to exploring other companies, but at the minute, I've just sort of been back. I've just been like focused on Ace because I know they sell well. It's a good company, and it's like nice slabs.
Yeah, and I think I agree with you there as well. That's why I had Imperium on last week and saying it was their CEO and managing director, and they gave us a good insight. Well, me a good insight. They us, whatever. Me a good insight into what the differences are and why people should choose them as well as using Ace or PSA as well, not to be biased. And it was quite interesting to hear the answers, and I think it would be good to chat to you afterwards about that sort of thing as well. But yeah, anyone that's out there, use whatever you're comfortable with. You're more Ace than you are PSA as well. But vendors generally, some of them don't even take Ace at all. Some of them are just PSA only. And there's a shop near me as well in Hertfordshire. They only deal in PSA. It's just you won't take Ace at all. But hopefully minds will change and they'll think, Ace has expanded to Europe now. So maybe they'll start taking them on a bit more and actually look at the market. There is room for these companies as well.
Yeah, no, I think grading like as a whole at the minute is just it's nuts. It's like I feel like every single week or two I see like a brand new grading company. Like I don't know, maybe not if you're watching this, but I put up on my story. I was at a card show on the weekend, and I bought in a slab from. It was the B drill from I think either Brilliant Stars or Astral Radiance. Yeah,
Yes.
as you saw, it was from a company called Tree Frog Grading, and it got the 10 grade, but instead of getting called a gem mint, it was called a Bravo.
This made me laugh so much when you put it up on your Instagram story. It was just like, look what I've got, a Grail here. The Beedrill card is nice on its own, but it was that tree frog, like you said, and Bravo 10. I was like, oh, it sounds like you're in the army or something. Tango Bravo 10.
Yeah, like you would have think if you're calling it Tree Frog, it would have been something like frog related.
Yeah, but across the whole grading community, if you're going to get a 10, it's Gem. It's Gem Mint 10. Like, I've never seen anyone call anything Bravo, and it's like, who the hell is this guy? It's like, you're right, they're cropping up all over the place, and it is confusing for consumers at the end of the day. If you're new to the scene, like I started a year and a bit ago now, again, after having my 90s set, and it's just a minefield sometimes. And you're thinking, legitimately, if I went on Whatnot now and saw weird grading companies that aren't maybe legitimate, that's why I said in the previous shows, do your research, make sure they're on Company's House or they've got a privacy policy, things like that. Make sure there's, legitimacy behind it before you buy anything. I would be well miffed if I bought a slab thinking, oh yeah, this is a great Gem Mint 10, but it's not a legitimate company like Ace or something. It would really get on my nerves, and you would lose faith in the platform a little bit, like Whatnot. If you're a new buyer.
Yeah, no, I think there's been a lot of like sort of I'm gonna be careful how I word this. Not misleading, but interestingly worded the ways people describe some of these sort of new grading companies and whatnot. I've been in some streams. Again, I'm not going to name names.
No,
But
exactly.
it's like they've seen these slabs and it's a new company. But they don't even have a website. But people are like, when can I submit? These slabs look so cool. Um, so I do think there's quite a few like new people. Like I always get it in my streams. It's like maybe after someone buys something, they're like, I'm new to the hobby. Is this good? Or are these going for good prices or are they going for like really expensive? So I think there are lots of new people, and I think sometimes they may get taken advantage of. But like I said, if you and also like you said, if you just go with a good seller who's if you're on Whatnot is 5 stars, they've sold a lot or has that
Yeah.
golden crest.
Check the reviews and stuff like that. Yeah.
Yeah, like I've got some. I mean, overall, we've got like 1.6 thousand reviews. The majority are good. I've had a couple of silly ones, which is like it took 3 weeks to arrive, but it got lost with Royal Mail. But yeah, I just think as long as you're with someone that's got a really like relatively large follower base and also has, well, yeah, like I said, good reviews, then you can't really go wrong.
Yeah. Well, hopefully, this up and coming record breaking stream in the next few months will come out. You'll have more information on the social media channels and who's going to be getting involved and the giveaways and things like that. It could be almost record breaking stuff. So, that'll be good, right?
Yeah, no, that's what we're hoping. I've been again. I've got a lot of work to do for that one, but we're sort of hoping for, like you said, for it to be a record breaker. And like
Yeah.
I'd say one of so far, I'd say I'm gonna give him a little shout out. Like Neurotic is probably one of the biggest um like one of the biggest supporters of this so far. And it's like he said, like I'm just reading through the messages now. It said like it sounds
Oh,
like
yeah, he's brilliant.
yeah, it sounds like a great idea. He said like I wish there was more stuff out here combining another. We work so hard all year round, and like a day of appreciation it shouldn't go amiss. And it's like I've got other people saying like the content side of Whatnot isn't really explored as much. So having something like that is really sort of good for everyone.
Yeah, definitely pump this out and get in touch with you if you're arranging this, and Neurotic, I suppose, if you're both teaming up on it in terms of sorting this out. Before we go, I'm going to just talk about quickly again about your own personal collection. What is, this is like the final question, your Grail card? What is your beautiful great slab or singular card that you have in your personal collection?
That I have again, I'd probably go back to that Charizard from Obsidian Flames just because I remember I
Oh,
remember pulling it in my kitchen, and I was like, because I sort of when I first got into it, obviously, I wasn't in for it. I wasn't doing it for the money. I was sort of like just doing it for the art styles, and I was like, "Ooh, a Charizard, that looks nice." And then I remember scanning it into Collector, and it popped up saying like £55. I was like, "Oh my god, I've done it!" Um,
yeah.
so
It's a great card.
again, it would probably be that one because I graded it with Ace. It came back here. I remember coming home from school, opening the box, came back a 10. I was just like, yeah, just it would be that.
Yeah, it is an amazing card. I have the same card. We were twinning on that one.
Yes,
Like
we
you
are.
messaged me. I did have to buy it though. Well, actually, I traded up. Like I got rid of cards that I didn't need, and I'm happy with that. I'm definitely keeping that in my personal collection because it is a beautiful card and it's not in print anymore. So it will only climb in value. So hold on to these ones as well if you ever want to sell it in the future, I suppose. So finally, how do listeners get in touch with you, find you on the social medias, and things like that?
Um, on the socials, I am the Card Kid UK or on well, I say on everything on whatnot on Instagram. I'd say I'm probably, in fact, I'm always lurking somewhere and whatnot. So I'm always active on all of them. So just sort of if you have any messages, concerns, um, questions, whatever. If you're a new streamer, you want to get some help, new seller, you want some like feedback
Yeah,
or some info, yeah, just give me a message.
yeah, exactly. The Card Kid UK. So get in touch and obviously check out the streams and stuff as well. It's been a pleasure having you on. I
Yeah, thank
appreciate
you
you
for having
coming
me.
on the show, and we'll catch up again hopefully in a few months' time just to get an update. Have you on again, and go from there. So we'll see you all soon. Thanks very much again. And yeah, check us out on Spotify, Instagram, and YouTube. Like, share, and subscribe on CardQuest Dan. Again, thanks, Misha,
No
the Card
problem.
Kid, for joining me, and see you all soon.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks, bye.